Time to play the game!
I always figured if I was ever going to get another terrestrial radio show, that would be my opener. Either that or last week's choice of Cult of Personality. Anyway, this is the Vast Right-Wing Conspiracy. I'm Joe Cunningham. Joining me is the United States champion, Tim Young. And
Oh my
John
God. Oh, here we go again.
And John Brodigan, here to talk what's going on in professional wrestling this week. And I guess let's kind of tease to what's coming up. And that is the big Japan show that's coming up, next weekend, next Saturday, like at a really ungodly hour for us?
No, I think it's, Saturday, the 4th of July, starting at 5:30 in the morning.
Fantastic.
And we will be live covering it at, I think 9? 8?
Sure.
But
Sure, why not?
5:30, 3 hours show, it'd be 8:30.
That's going to be really early.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it for all two of you that watch us. Anyway.
Tim will just be getting home.
And of course, this is going to be one of the interesting things to see with the WWE as to whether or not they are deciding to throw in more things into the, I guess you could call it the canon of the WWE universe. Is what's going to happen in Japan going to follow the current storylines that we have going, and should it? If it's in a completely different time zone, does that not count?
I don't think it counts.
I'm just kidding.
Is that kind of like when your girlfriend is in a different area code?
Yes. It's not cheating.
Thank God mine is putting the baby to sleep. Anyway, and by girlfriend I mean wife. The girlfriend is not putting the baby to sleep. That would be really awkward. Anyway,
maybe she is sneaking around the house.
There's a great Rodney Carrington song called "The Day My Wife Met My Girlfriend." It's a fantastic song. Anyway, for the stuff that's got going up, we saw, Monday on Raw, we saw that things are intensifying between Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, and Seth Rollins spent the better part of 3 hours trying to convince people to be his friends again, and the strategy seems to have worked as J&J and Kane helped Rollins kind of subdue the beast that is Brock Lesnar, which is interesting considering that Brock Lesnar has completely destroyed everything left and right, and it takes two short dudes and Kane, who should have retired already, to subdue him. Let's go to Tim. What are your thoughts on this current feud, and what do you think is going to happen as it progresses?
Brock Lesnar can't win, and I really want him to win, but I feel like he's obviously going to get screwed out of the title here, and they're going to make him. I think they're going to make him a face. Because you have to keep building up Seth Rollins at this point. But man, I want him to win. He's been exciting as a face. I always like it when you have a monster face, especially somebody who's over that much. That just means that they can't win at this point. So it's going to be a disappointing finish, I think, to the end of this feud for me. But I love watching it all the way through. They have really built Seth Rollins as that wuss, the wimpy heel that has to cheat to win every match, and he's running away a lot, and he's begging for help. And I mean, they're building him up the way that a classic heel should be built, and you're waiting for the face to get a hold of him. I just think that I'm going to be disappointed in the end here.
I think and what Rollins kind of reminds me of is a few years back when Christian was still wrestling, and his big feud for the world title was against Randy Orton. And he was doing all these things to kind of goad Randy Orton. Was it Randy Orton or Sheamus? I can't remember which one.
Randy Orton.
It was. And he was just kind of goading him into, getting himself disqualified and things like that. And that seems to be the kind of thing on a different, Rollins has backup, whereas Christian was just kind of using cheap tactics to get Orton to disqualify himself. But it's that same kind of mentality there where it's the smaller guy who is the champion doing whatever he has to maintain that championship, which is why I'm thankful that we'll never have to see a heel Daniel Bryan again.
Well, didn't Christian win the championship off of a junk kick from
Yes.
from Randy Orton?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's almost the exact same thing that's going now, except there's a team. Let me ask you this: was oh my gosh, and I forget his name already. Not Joey Mercury. Was the other J at J&J Security legitimately injured on Monday night? What happened there?
I did not see. I hadn't really followed the news this week.
I think he was. Apparently, he got thrown into. And I'm sorry, I'm just a little distracted because apparently there's a TNA pay-per-view going on right now, which shows how much people pay attention to them. But I just checked the news, but like, oh wow, there's a show going on. We should probably be watching if but it's only TNA, so who cares? Apparently, he got thrown into the railing so hard he broke a rib.
Wow.
Eesh.
That's intense, and that's the beauty of having a legit monster there who is kind of the de facto face in this feud. I don't really what we were talking about last week, who's the face and who's the heel in this one. I think just in terms of crowd popularity, it would be Lesnar as the face, but he's not really booked that way. He's booked as this monster who is now hell-bent on revenge, and he'll do whatever it takes to get it. And you have Seth Rollins, who is the chicken crap heel right now. So it's an interesting dynamic. Yes, you are absolutely right. There is Slammiversary going on right now. Slammiversary 2015, which is wonderful, I guess, for those who are into that sort of thing. What about some of the other stuff we have going on right now? And I have some friends who are in, and I'm with them. I'm huge fans of Bray Wyatt. And we're watching this feud with Wyatt and Reigns. And see, this is where Wyatt's so good, is that he can really play that kind of classic Undertaker feel where he's really creepy. He's very, very much into the head games. And you just get this feeling that this is all going to be a build for Reigns. And so once again, Wyatt's going to be thrown into a losing feud. And what happens there? John? Brodigan? Whatever you want me to call you?
That's close to either one. I don't know. They've botched Bray Wyatt so much this year. It's kind of hard to get that excited about anything they do. And because he's going up. Wait, hang on, let me get the screen so I can actually look at you guys. Okay. And because he's going up against Roman Reigns, you just assume that the long run is going to be him jogging out the Roman Reigns. So it's kind of hard to get that exciting. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that it's at least an entertaining feud, but it's also the kind of thing of where, okay, when the feud's done with Roman Reigns and they only have like a 2-month window of Vince paying attention to feuds, what does he do next?
What does he do next? I felt like this campaign, this feud was set up to promote the campaign, the fathers of whatever, be a good father campaign that they did, since they popped out that picture of Roman Reigns with his daughter to start it off. And there's actually a billboard of it down the street from me of Roman Reigns with his daughter. And I'm like, that seems very timely that that's out right now. I really want to see his daughter brought in. I want to see Bray Wyatt interact with the daughter. I think that would be fun, but they won't do that.
It's actually his daughter. It's not like a little child actress that's being cast as his daughter, right?
I wish she was an actress because then they could actually work her into the the shtick.
I mean, WWE hadn't been afraid of working families in before, but a kid that young, I don't know. That would be interesting if Bray Wyatt brought out Roman Reigns' daughter singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." I'd be set. No matter what happens in that feud, I'd be set.
I'd be happy with that. I think my favorite match of all time that I saw in person, and by favorite I mean most ridiculous, was the SummerSlam match in D.C. between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. The adoption papers on hung above the ring ladder match.
Oh God, I'm so disappointed that didn't take place in WCW where I could laugh at it more.
And actually, because of my seats, you can see me for most of the match when they reach for the gates, and I'm so proud of that. Those are my proud moments in life.
Well, the good news is I'm turning on the network immediately after this is over, so I can go and find that. Get screenshots of Tim Young back in the day when he was watching Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio going at it.
I was wearing a Eugene shirt, anyway.
Even better.
Okay, and wait a second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just got home. I'm catching up on news. Apparently, Seth Rollins was banned from a country music concert in New York City.
Okay, there's a lot of things wrong with that sentence. Seth Rollins, country music, New York
I guess
City.
it's a joke, but I mean, literally, this is like an official sign that they have listed at the concert where, Farnborough prohibits weapons, fireworks, illegal substances, coolers, picnic baskets, pets, glass containers, alcohol, instruments, chain wallets, large backpacks, laser pointers, professional still camera, audio video recording equipment, WWE superstar Seth Rollins, and no illegal vending is permitted. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
That is fantastic.
Hang on, I'm retweeting it and tagging you guys in it.
I see it.
Excellent.
Oh my God. That's legit too. That's not Photoshop. That's amazing.
No, exactly. Someone just has a joke decided to put that in there.
By the way, anybody who happens to be watching through Google Plus, the event page, there is a question and answer feature that is thrown on that you can ask questions of the show, and if we don't get to it this week, we will certainly try to toss those in next week so that you guys can ask us about our varying levels of expertise. My expertise in professional wrestling is mostly regards celebrity appearances. I still get chills every time I remember
RoboCop.
Chucky appearing on the jumbotron with Mean Gene Okerlund saying "This is lunacy" or something in the ring. One of the best moments of my life. Going now, kind of switching real quick to a subject that we talked about last week when Tim couldn't join us because he was actually doing real important stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I noticed on SmackDown last week, and I didn't watch it this week, so I have no idea what went on there, but SmackDown last week, you had a Divas match, and it was Brie versus Paige, and then in the middle of the match, it's not Nikki who comes down to help, but it's Alicia Fox, and then at the end of it, Alicia Fox puts on a Bella T-shirt, Team Bella or whatever. And November is closer than I thought it was when we were on the show last week, but it's still kind of far away. But this seems like the type of thing that you would build up for in a Survivor Series match where you would have a Team Bella versus Team Paige. But is this going to, and I've asked this question before, and I know I'm going to get the same answer this time, but is this closer to making the Divas match something a little more interesting?
No.
No. What does it take to make the Divas division interesting to you, Tim?
Tim, that is word for word my response last week.
What would make it interesting is fire all the current Divas except for maybe Paige, Alicia Fox, and Naomi, and then bringing up not only the Divas from NXT, but whoever's booking that. And actually giving the Divas storylines and letting them wrestle. Everybody except for Dana Brooke. Bring up everybody except for Dana Brooke, who needs to go away, and the redhead, who I don't even care to know her name. That I don't understand why she's under contract still.
You better not be talking about Becky Lynch.
No, he's talking about Eva Marie.
Eva Marie.
What is the point of her?
I don't know. She's not even that attractive compared to like you can find a model to stand around and waste everyone's time. I think the problem with Eva Marie is that she gets so much heat that they keep hoping that they can do something with her, but the heat is because she legitimately sucks. Like there's no reason for her to be around at all.
I'm not disagreeing. That's also basically word for word what Brodigan said last week. And it's kind of the thing where you have, you could count, all the Divas that are currently participating in NXT right now. You could bring them up and you could have a really interesting division, but it would require you to get rid of the uninteresting Divas division that's on the main roster right now. And if you brought up Charlotte, Becky Lynch, I would even say Sasha Banks and a couple others, throw them into the Divas scene, see what happens. Or, like we tossed around last week, what if you had Paige go back to NXT, grab all them, bring them up for a big, massive Divas tag team match or Survivor Series match, and had that going, the only thing that you would really see, I think we concluded last week, was that it would show just how big the disparity between actual wrestling talent between the NXT and main roster divisions are. I mean, do you send, at some point, do we send all the divas down to NXT and have them kind of go through the training again, or
No,
what do we do?
You let them go to TNA. Just let them go. Just the problem is the Bellas won't go anywhere because of their husbands, and then Tamina's not going to go anywhere because of her father. So like you're kind of, man. I don't understand why Natalia's still around either. She's terrible. Like she's a great wrestler, but they've just beaten her into the ground. She's not. Just so bad.
She's not a character. She's not an interesting character anymore. But the three you mentioned, aside from her, the Bellas are actually getting better in the ring. Tamina has always been, a fairly good force to see just sling people around because she is that big burly type woman.
Nikolai Volkov showed me 3 moves once. He trained me a little bit. He gave me like some basics. If I wrestled as long as the Bellas did, I'd be an amazing wrestler by now. Like, they're getting better. They've been in it for, 8 years?
Different learning curves.
Different learning. And,
Well, that depends. Were you getting late-night tutorials from Nikolai like they've been getting from John Cena and Daniel Bryan?
No, not quite the same. Not quite the same.
Those are some different submission moves.
My favorite part, my favorite moment in the Divas division in the past, I think, 6 months was at some point they did Twin Magic. And Michael Cole made the comment, something to the effect of, Nikki is way fatter than Brie. There's no way you can tell that they were the same person. This was, I think 4 or 5 months ago. And he's like, the one is obviously larger. Could she, diet or something like that? And I was like, yes, thank you.
I think my favorite moment was a couple weeks ago when they pulled off the Twin Magic and Brie just started pulling the stuffing out of her top. I think that was the best. That was at the pay-per-view, wasn't it? That was at Elimination Chamber, I guess.
Yes. When God bless them that because in memory of Dusty Rhodes they actually did a Dusty finish, but where she actually started pulling out the tissue that she had stuffed in her bra.
And actually, by the way, this has nothing to do with anything other than just the term diva. Well, actually, it's got a little bit. Sasha Banks, God bless the guy who makes the what do you call him? The guy who makes the outfits for NXT.
Mm-hmm.
He's engaged to Sasha Banks. You want to talk about a smart guy? Lock it down, buddy, before it goes anywhere.
You know something? If you're gonna be the luggage pimp, that's a good job to have.
Yeah. God bless him. He did good for himself. So.
Once again, it seems our discussion has gone back to NXT because that's how it always turns out. How much better NXT is than literally anything else they're producing right now.
And speaking of which, how awesome is what they're doing to hype up Finn Balor?
That's
with the Demon commercials to hype up the July 4th show and the history packages.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they're acknowledging his past so early in his career,
again, that's one of the things that they do so much better there is they take the time to really build up these guys and we're still looking at a WWE that has a bunch of guys who just kind of appeared on the WWE scene. There wasn't when a lot of these guys came, there wasn't NXT. Now we're seeing those come in. We're seeing much better characters. Ascension being the exception that proves the rule. We're seeing a bunch of great characters come up from NXT.
They're the public enemy of NXT.
Yes. I would like to see ICP make a return and fight them. That would be that's as big as they're going to get.
They still have their own wrestling circuit.
Yes. And never say that again.
I was listening to the Oddities theme the other day. In fact, I should pull that up, and that's how we should close the show.
There's a full extended version of that. There's a full extended version that has a lot of swearing in it. It's actually pretty good. I don't understand why we're talking about NXT when we could be covering the Ryback Big Show feud, because that is the best. I don't know.
Oh God, why? And see, this is a stupid thing because Bray Wyatt even had a. This is give you an example how badly they're wasting Bray Wyatt. He had a feud in between The Undertaker and Roman Reigns, where he feuded with Ryback, pinned him in their only match, yet Ryback goes on to win the Intercontinental title, and Bray Wyatt is just, he's like stalking someone's 10-year-old daughter. I mean, I know he's
illegal in a couple of years.
And look, and I understand that most of what the WWE's done for the past 2 years has just been one giant subtweet to CM Punk, but come on now.
Yeah. There's nothing I can add to that. Bray Wyatt has been just completely wasted, and his brother is done. Like he's a jobber now, totally, right? Bo Dallas is no longer going to do anything. He's been relegated to being the fourth member of New Day.
You know what it is? I think the wrestler himself has potential. The gimmick just didn't cross over.
But I whenever his music comes on, I still get excited because Bo Dallas is coming out, because at least it's entertaining. It's like seeing R-Truth. I know he's not going to have anything substantive for any ongoing plot, but Bo Dallas's character is just kind of fun to watch. Pissed off Bo Dallas kind of worried me a little bit there with the Adrian Neville feud, but Bo Dallas coming out, whether he jobs or not, he's not like Great Khali jobbing type. He's actually an entertaining jobbing type, and that's what I like to see. So I'll keep cheering for Bo Dallas. I think the two sons of IRS are doing well for themselves.
Yeah.
In the WWE.
Yeah, they're great.
And again, that just goes to the kind of lasting characters that are being put out by NXT. But you mentioned the Ryback Big Show feud, and looking at Raw this Monday, we saw something that might be maybe somewhat interesting in terms of Ryback just beating the holy hell out of Big Show. Now that's probably going to get turned on its head next week when Big Show does something to extremely violent and big and bulky and slow to Ryback.
Unless Ryback injures him.
Well, there's always that possibility. Ryback could do a clothesline and, break 4 Big Show's ribs, because that's just how Ryback rolls.
That is how he does.
I don't know. We always had a nickname like Botch Cara for the original Sin Cara. Now we're trying to figure out maybe Rybotch. Rybotch would be a good name.
Right. Rybotchamania is running wild.
But Ryback is he's very much Goldberg-like in the ring. I think the chants were warranted, but Ryback's skills on the microphone haven't been all that bad lately comparatively to some of the others who are out there. He's gotten better on the mic, which I guess is good for his character. I still don't know what his character is supposed to be, but whatever.
Ryback. You don't get it?
He's supposed to be his positivity.
For the kids. Feed me more. You don't get it?
End world hunger. That should be the next ad campaign for the WWE. End world hunger with Ryback. Feed them more.
Feed me at all, I'm starving.
For just pennies a day, you can feed them more.
I'm actually surprised they haven't done that yet.
What? With feed the world more, end hunger with Ryback?
Yeah, okay. Whether or not they do it seriously or just as a stupid commercial like they used to have Sheamus with call 1-900-FELLA.
That was... Oh, man, I'd forgotten about that.
I'm sorry.
That's I'm going to have to rethink every bad decision of my life now for 1-800-FELLA. Doesn't even work, Sheamus. How? I don't know. I'm getting too wrapped up in that. Anyway, speaking of Sheamus, his silly little hairdo and all.
You look stupid. That's literally my all-time favorite audience chant.
He's pretty much the new Captain Lou. I'm fine with that.
This is why we need another Becky Lynch, because we need Becky Lynch to move up so we can have an Irish person we can actually stand listening to and seeing wrestle. Can we have that happen? Somebody make that happen?
I think so.
I mean, what feud is Sheamus in right now? I don't even know. Like he was like fighting Dolph Ziggler like 6 times. And that was it.
But Dolph Ziggler's about to be in mixed tag matches for the next 15 pay-per-views with Summer Rae and Rusev, who's about to do. Maybe they'll have some dance competitions in between.
Oh my God! Please.
He just re-signed, by the way. Dolph Ziggler just re-signed a multi-year deal with WWE on Friday.
Yeah, I saw that, and that's good because I genuinely like Ziggler, and I've said it before, and I'll keep defending Ziggler. It's just awesome to see him go out there and work, and apparently his comedy is not all that bad either. I know he's I don't follow very many WWE accounts on Twitter, but his is one of the ones I would definitely follow because it's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah. He also dated Amy Schumer for a bit. That's just a little side note if you guys aren't as nerdy as I am.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Good knowledge to have.
And actually, another interesting Amy Schumer tidbit, she went to high school with the drummer from Taking Back Sunday.
Huh.
Which has nothing to do with wrestling, but...
No. Nope, but there we go.
The bottom line is Amy Schumer gets around.
Yeah.
And I actually wonder if John Cena and Dolph Ziggler are going to exchange notes.
That's way more interesting than Ryback versus anybody, though. Why is he the Intercontinental? Of all the people in that match, why did they pick him to become the Intercontinental Champion? Why did they think they were supposed to uplift that belt just like they've done with the United States belt?
To troll CM Punk.
Oh, that's what it is.
That is literally the only answer I could think of.
Because it makes no sense. They were talking.
It kind of like the WWE sending the World Champion Chicago Blackhawks a world title belt. Well, when Punk asked him to do that a couple years ago, Vince told him nobody watches hockey.
Why would you operate a business like that? That's so bad.
Because you can afford to?
That's true. Anyway, let's talk about
more.
more.
Bastard, then sure you can.
I like that the most entertaining segment of all of WWE this week was posted yesterday, and it was 18 minutes of The Rock in Boston at a live show. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I haven't watched the full footage yet, but yes, I did see. Anything The Rock does is more entertaining. More entertaining, both words.
Because Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't have anything else to say.
Oh, because I was bothered by this is the best, if fans are tuning into this or whatever, and they're like, man, these guys just hate the show. I didn't understand SmackDown the other day having the main event of Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. They've reignited their feud. It's like, guys, it's been a week, so.
I wouldn't quite call the feud saying that the feud died down.
But that's another match I'll watch any day. I don't care what's going on. I will watch Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins go at it because that's just a fun match.
It is. I just wish they had a Bray Wyatt would be fun to be involved at that level at this point. Once he's done with Roman Reigns, what's going to happen? Once Roman Reigns buries him again, who's left for him to go against? Sorry, this is so non sequitur. We should have bullet points and go through this. Come on, Joe. Keep us in line here.
I told you this week Arkham Knight came out, and so I've been devoting all of my time. I don't think I've slept but maybe 5 hours this week, so you can't blame me for a whole lot here.
When Uncharted comes out, I'll be the same way.
Arkham Knight, fantastic game. Yeah.
This is the weird thing about me. I never had the video game gene. I've got every other geek gene: wrestling, comic books, sci-fi, indie music, anything that makes you a dork. For whatever reason, Sega Genesis was about as far into video games as I got.
That's not a bad.
I honestly, it's been one of the great mysteries about my life.
We're learning so much. This just got really touching.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Awesome. I never had that.
Well, it is, so basically, your Dungeons and Dragons is my video games.
Huh. That's touching. Meanwhile, this is how bad I have all of these. I have all of these with my name on them. These are my. If I can put my name. Yeah.
So who did you beat for that title, though? That's what I know.
My ex-girlfriend or something, I think is what I. No, wait, I didn't beat my ex-girlfriend. That sounds bad.
I honestly think it has to go on your Tinder profile now.
I beat my ex. I've been doing pretty well on it tonight. It's been buzzing while we've been here, so that's things are moving. My social life is in the crapper. Anyway, hey.
I'm sorry, can't meet for drinks right now. I'm talking about wrestling on the internet.
I got off the phone, no lie. I got off the phone. I was on the phone with a Tinder girl, and I was like, I have to go do a wrestling podcast in 3 minutes, and then I signed on. She's like, what? I was like, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later. Bye.
Meanwhile, I'm not sure if everybody at home can see it, but that looks. Here, I'm actually going to click on your head so that I can bring it up even while I'm talking. Is that a Crown Royal football helmet behind you?
It is a Crown Royal football helmet behind me.
And
Fantastic.
is that a box of Captain Starch and Fruit Looped?
So these are okay. Listen, if we're gonna go down this road, let's just take a tour of my apartment, okay? So here's my Crown Royal football helmet. That everything I've gotten from this was from a thrift store. These are toys, actually. These are the Ron English toys.
Oh, okay.
And they're kind of cool. And then, hold on, we'll do a couple of nerdy things here. Here's my Harry Shearer signed Ned Flanders.
Very nice.
And then finally, because I actually might do a wedding, not a gay one, but a regular wedding, this is my actual certificate to be able to give weddings, and I'm a doctor of
time.
Yes.
You're a reverend in the Church of Time Lords.
So I'm pretty much.
I'm glad I'm not the only one on this show with an official license from the university or from Life Church, Universal Life Church. That makes me happier.
I've got to do it. I did it, and I've done a wedding.
So what you're saying is that we can do all the gay marriages over the internet on this show that we want.
No. I'm one and done because literally, first of all, the guy should have never married the girl in the first place, and it was just a train wreck. But also, so
you should say that when you're officiating.
Yes. The only religious part of the ceremony, because the groom's mother was Jewish, she wanted to break the glass. And which is actually a very religious part of it. She didn't understand tradition, she just thought it was nice. So literally, the only religious part of the ceremony, I say, and now for the traditional breaking of glass, I bend down and I split my pants. and then before I got to change my pants, because it all took place in a hotel, without on an elevator, so you had to take the stairs to get up to the second floor. I literally locked myself out of my room 5 times before I finally got in to change my pants. I would open the room, I would put my key down, someone would distract me, the door would lock, and I would have to go back downstairs and get another key.
That's amazing.
So I personally think that was a sign that I should never do that again. God, Yahweh, Allah, Jeebus, whoever you believe in, they all got together and said, don't ever do this again.
This has been on the event page for this particular show. I put that we're going to treat this kind of like Star Wars in that the other 3 episodes don't exist, and this is the original episode of the Vast Right Wing Conspiracy. And so far, I think it's working.
Exactly. So,
I have a very serious question, though. Very serious question. This is for Brodigan. That ring you're playing with, is it a children's toy or an adult toy?
It is a children's toy.
Thank God. I was worried about it.
This is see right there. This is a children's toy.
You know what? It could be either. Anyway.
I love that your camera autofocus on my one and only wedding that I've ever done. I did, it wasn't particularly religious. They wanted some elements in there, but the only thing of note that I can really remember doing is doing the speech from Princess Bride in the Cardinals voice.
That's awesome.
So,
okay. My wedding ceremony, it was I read out of a Princess Bride notebook. I actually get wrestling stress. We'll get to that later. So we went to the mall, and I needed a book to write it down on, so I got a Princess Bride notebook from Hot Topic. And when we had the rehearsal wedding, where you could actually screw around with, once we did the entire ceremony, I was actually planning on starting and going marriage. Except once everyone practiced walking down to the ring, the altar, the bride decided she was too hot and she canceled everything and said everyone go get something to eat. So I didn't get to say that, but yes. And what's funny here is, and this turns into the right part of the vast right-wing conspiracy. So when I was doing the Misfit Politics Google Hangout, which actually we stayed on topic about as well as we do here in the Vast Right Wing Conspiracy, I was going through stuff on my desk, and I pulled out my Princess Bride notebook that I actually... Do I still have it?
Now we're going to take a tour through Brodigan's drawer. There we go. Fantastic.
And I actually, I redid my ceremony, only this time I married Cole Streeper and Kimberly Kay.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And because they were there, and we literally had them turn, so that way that their little box faces were facing each other on the boxes as I read the ceremony. It was fabulous.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't done a wedding yet. I was very close to doing one, and I think in August, and I realized how much those guys make doing that. I'm like, crap, I'll charge half of what people are charging in this region and go have a good time. Ruin my political career.
Yeah.
Or make your political career.
Good.
Political career.
Yeah, you know. Did you see, by the way, hold on, I'm going to get us back on topic. Did you see that TNA has a new King of the Mountain championship?
They don't have any more wrestlers. They've all been quitting this week.
Hold on, but they have a new King of the Mountain championship. That is the TNA Legend / TV title, but they're reintroducing it as if it's a new belt with a video.
And given their current staffing levels, I'm assuming that Dixie Carter holds it.
Who knows? Who all quit this week from TNA?
Okay, Magnus, James Storm, Awesome Kong, and...
Didn't she just get back?
Terrell Timberlake. Apparently she left again.
Taryn Terrell?
Oh, actually, apparently the TNA stars, they denied that they're quitting. Yes.
Oh, so it's one of those situations.
Taryn Terrell and Awesome Kong have both denied on Twitter that they're quitting, which probably means that they'll be gone in 2 weeks.
Fantastic. We didn't quit. Oh, I would like to see Karma go back to WWE. I'd love to see Karma just like go through NXT, just destroy everything, get up to the WWE main roster, and actually have a chance this time. That would be fun to see.
Wait, hang on. TNA actually had a Legends title?
Yes. Yeah, it was held by Booker T. It was somewhere before the main event Mafia stuff.
Okay, and this is the main reason why I was kind of leery about doing a wrestling podcast, because eventually it turns into like how much everything sucks. But how sad is it that the most entertaining thing that happened in wrestling this week is the fact that Seth Rollins is banned from a country concert in New York City?
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't even know where to go after that. Like, should we end the show here like 15 minutes early?
No.
Should I just play the Oddities theme?
No.
Should I just have the Oddities play us out here?
Not at all. Are you kidding me? I was actually there. So I was at a TNA taping once in Florida. I skipped out of a sales conference and went to this thing. And it was the day that they had the empty arena match between Sting and Kurt Angle.
No, now, when you say empty arena match, was it because they couldn't sell any tickets?
I saw. It's free. The show was free, and the best part about it was, like, I wanted to buy a T-shirt afterwards, and they're like, oh, we don't have anybody working the T-shirt stand. Like, they're hurting for money, and they had no one working the T-shirt stand to sell T-shirts.
Yeah, see, that's the mark of a good business, is when you're bleeding money, you're like, we're just going to have a free show. Nobody's going to be there to sell merchandise. It's all good.
And not to mention, I mean, isn't it the job of like people's girlfriends to sell merch?
Yeah, somebody.
I thought those were the rules. Like if you're gonna date someone in the band, you have to sell merch.
You have to stand by the stand. There's actually also a good picture of me with what's his name, West, who was the guy who used to sell their stuff, who was like the drunk from TV.
Alan West?
No, not Alan West.
Adam West?
No. Who was the guy who used to do all of the sales stuff for TNA?
Wally West.
Not Wally West.
Speaking of Adam West, you can do in Arkham Knight, you can have Batman fighting thugs. as the classic Adam West Batman costume.
Nice.
Just throw that out there. And the Batmobile / tank, you can get, if you pre-order, you can use the 1960s Batmobile skin on that Batmobile / tank.
Don West was the guy, by the way.
There's actually one line in Arkham Knight where as you're going through the city, you can hear one of the random criminals saying, yeah, I preferred his old Batmobile. It had a much more classic look to it. This was just a freaking tank.
That's awesome. Dude, I'm telling you, there was a whole thing, like, I really, when TNA would come to town, I'd pop $10 to go see him. I went to a TNA live taping, and then I went to see him live at a house show at, like, where was I?
Taco Bell probably if it was a house show.
It was one of the worst shows I've ever seen. And I bought their, like, TNA mystery bag where you got, like, 5 DVDs and a T-shirt for $20. And it was just garbage, just pure garbage.
You got ripped off. You way overpaid on that.
They sold mystery bags? Are you serious?
Yeah, they still do, where it's like the bag deal, and it's like, they have it on their website for like $20. You can get like 3 T-shirts and like 2 DVDs or something like that.
That's a healthy business model.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they used to have like signed action figures and stuff that would come with it too, like for like the upsell. But yeah, I mean, I had a bunch of TNA stuff. I bought my buddy a signed Beautiful People poster that was limited to 75 or something for his birthday one year. I was way into them for some reason for like a couple of minutes because I wanted wrestling to be exciting. And it just never happened. Never panned out with TNA. Me and TNA didn't work out.
I think it's really great that 3 grown men can be sitting on this podcast, on this web show, talking about how much we watch wrestling and how much it sucks, and we still keep watching it. We still, like, man, I'm really hungover this morning. I'll never drink again. 3 hours later, margaritas on me.
I always use the Days of Our Lives analogy because Days of Our Lives is really big in my family. Like, from my grandmother, when I was like 5, I actually, for Halloween one year, I think in kindergarten, I went dressed as Bo Brady. And for a good 10 years, I would sit down to watch Days of Our Lives with my parents, and we'd be asking ourselves, why do we still watch this crap? But we would still watch it. It got to the point where Marlena was possessed by Satan when we decided, you know something? This has gone too far. And, like, you know, quit it ever since then. You know, wrestling hasn't had that moment for me yet.
It's getting there for me. It's getting there. But tonight I was actually talking. So I was talking with somebody else about pro wrestling, and I might end up doing a bit about it because if you think about it, I guess the mystique has started to lose itself because there aren't those charismatic characters like The Rock and CM Punk and guys around that can really carry it for me, and they're ruining ones that are good. But like. Now when you think about it outside of like how cool it is that the guys do all these moves, it's like if you really hated each other and you were really fighting and trying to win a match, you would never like take the time to flip somebody into the ropes and flip them over your back and do like suplexes and stuff. You'd beat the crap out of them until they quit or you could hold them down on the mat. There would never be a single opportunity to do any kind of like strategic flipping.
Yes.
But you know.
that was like always a joke. I think it was the Dean Malenko joke where he would make fun of the luchadors because in order for them to set up their moves, like especially like the big jumps off the top rope down to the concrete, the people that they were jumping on would just have to stand there and do nothing to set up the move. It's like, well, why not just step to the side?
Yeah. Well, you know. You have to suspend reality, like that same, like the abortion, the adoption papers on a pole, or the adoption papers hanging above the ring match. That was the same night that it was Hogan, Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam, and Shawn Michaels was overselling every move that Hogan hit him with. It was just the most amazing. And then Eugene versus Kurt Angle was on that one too, where Kurt Angle beat up a mentally handicapped man in the middle of the ring. I mean, like there's like that pay-per-view as a whole could be the most amazing WWE event ever.
I barely remember this. I know I saw it because I said that was before I stopped ordering the pay-per-view. Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan SummerSlam. SummerSlam 2005. Let's see what else was on this. We're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of it.
That's good enough for me. That makes the show work.
Okay. Chris Masters defeated the Hurricane.
Who was on the wedding dress show on TLC? Hurricane Helms was on.
Oh God, I saw that. That was. We'll get to that in a second. Chris Benoit, who we're not allowed to speak of, beat Orlando Jordan
in record time for the United States Championship.
Edge defeated Matt Hardy by ref stoppage. Mysterio for Guerrero in the custody papers on a pole match, or ladder match. I'm sorry. Angle versus Eugene, Batista versus Layfield, no holds barred for the World Heavyweight Title match. Cena versus Jericho. Yeah, that is a pretty awesomely bad card. But yes, the say yes to this dress. Greg Helms was there with his fiance, and he did it in character. Here's the thing, though. I couldn't tell if he purposely was doing it in character or if he's gotten to the point where he doesn't know what the character is anymore. Because he would talk about himself in the third person, as if Gregory Helms and the Hurricane were separate people. And I'm wondering, there's a good chance that he told his wife to do that because he's so desperate in his career that he's hoping if he heals it up, some indie promoter will be able to use that to market him.
I'm just imagining the "Say Yes to the Dress" footage as being used on his Titantron entrance, and it's just really fantastic to have that mental image going on while the Hurricane theme plays. But speaking of charismatic characters, Brodigan, you put this up a couple days ago, so I'll let you take over on it. It's the 2-year anniversary this week of
the pipe bomb.
Of CM Punk's pipe bomb, which is still one of the best promos I've ever seen given. That shoot right there at the top of the ramp, cross-legged. CM Punk did a phenomenal job. Just talk about it a little bit. You're the one who saw it and reposted it.
Well, the funny thing is that what I remember about that is that was the, you know how you're always afraid to shut off a TV show, even though you know it's going to suck and you know what's going to happen, you're not going to miss anything, but you sit it through anyway. I actually shut off Raw and went to bed. And I'm laying in bed. I decided to check Facebook, and I at least eight tweets, Facebook statuses in a row. Oh my God, did you see that? CM Punk, did a shoot that was a real shoot. I'm like, thankfully my DVR, it'll automatically records an hour of whatever channel it's on. So you can turn the TV on just for rewind stuff, and thankfully the channel was in the USA Network. I actually had to get out of bed to rewind to see what people were talking about. And I was just watching. I'm like, okay, either that's legit or he convinced them in doing something cool. And he apparently convinced them doing something cool. But I also love that entire angle was cool because he had the shoot, he won the title, and then he would he would send out pictures of him going around Chicago with the title, sticking on his refrigerator. And my favorite part was when he showed up at Wizard World, during the Q&A session when Triple H was on, and just grabbed the microphone and started asking questions, knowing that someone would have captured it on their smartphone. Mm-hmm. It was just brilliant, brilliant stuff. And, it worked out for a little while, and then the WWE started to be the WWE again. And now he's training for the UFC.
Which I think would be interesting. And okay, I'll pay attention for maybe 5 minutes of CM Punk's UFC career, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes from there. My favorite thing with CM Punk is on Twitter. Whenever he'll retweet the people who are really legitimately pissed about him quitting, and he'll say something mockingly toward them, and I'm assuming block them immediately after. Because if he's not blocking them, he's just really getting too much enjoyment out of some of the stuff that people says. But people say words. I'm an English teacher. I should have done better than that. Anyway.
As opposed to Kevin Owens, who blocks everybody and loves it.
This is true. I haven't even tried following Kevin Owens. I'm not, like I said, I don't follow very many people from the wrestling world on Twitter. I don't want to do that because they're not really all that great at tweeting in character yet. Yeah. I think the most interesting thing that they've done on Twitter is Rusev and Lana posting pictures back and forth, like Rusev posting the creepy around the corner picture of Lana, and then her coming back the following week and posting a picture of somebody taking a picture of Rusev taking a picture of her at the food table. I will have to find that and link it for you because that is hilarious. It's one of the few things they actually do right on Twitter. And speaking of Twitter, it's been quiet ever since the tragic death of Dusty Rhodes. But Stephen Amell versus Cody Rhodes or Stardust or whatever, I'm still hoping that's on at some point because that would be really awesome to see. We've got a few minutes left. I'm going to turn it over to Tim first. What do you want to see this coming week and as we build toward Battleground, the next pay-per-view?
More of Lana's Twitter feed that I just went to, and wow, she posts a lot of bikinis of herself. That's a great sexist way to end that. Does the chat show up in the window? Because I just sent you her Lana WWE. That is totally worth taking a look at. What I want to see, I want to see more of Seth Rollins being the wussy heel, and I want to see more of Brock Lesnar beating him up because this is the most we're going to see of him getting a hold of him and not being screwed. I think he's obviously going to be screwed near the end. I want to see something. God, I just wish they would insert Dolph Ziggler into a meaningful storyline that's worth watching. I just think he's going to be stuck in a couple storyline where he'll probably go against Rusev and Summer Rae, and probably while we're at it, Adam Rose and what's her name? Who I can't think of her name right now.
Rosa.
Yeah, Rosa.
It doesn't matter what her name is.
It really doesn't. But like, I've also actually I like the primetime players. I think they've been very, very charismatic and they've been fun to watch. I want to see more of them, and I think they've been doing it right, where they come out and mock people appropriately and they're having fun. It just seems like that's been a fun segment to watch. And I'm very interested to see what this show's going to be like on the 4th of July from Japan. I think this is hopefully it won't be just a glorified house show. I hope that they actually have a title switch or something there. That would be amazing. But this is obviously, like Brodigan said, the way they've been pushing Finn Balor's been incredible, and I think this is going to be a humongous show. Who is he facing in this show, by the way?
Oh, it's an NXT title match against Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens.
I think he wins. I think that's your title drop there.
I think so too.
Because they've been pushing him. That big package they did on him coming up through Japan and how important it was, and that's really his home, really, when it comes to wrestling. I think that's what they're setting it up for. And I wonder if that's obviously going to be the second to last match of the night. I don't know if that's going to be the main event. It might be a duel.
I think it's going to be the main event. I honestly don't think they're going to have Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston as the main event of anything.
Oh, wait, he's going against Kofi Kingston?
Yeah.
I missed that. Oh, well, then that's a throwaway.
So here's the thing. The backstory of the Lesnar going to Japan was the fact that he was going with a friend because they wanted to hang out with Hayabusa.
Mm-hmm.
And figures, all right, well, if I wrestle on a show, I could write it off. So he told the WWE just to book him. So that way he's getting a free trip that he wanted to take anyway.
Nice.
That's amazing.
All right, Brodigan, same question for you. What do you think we'll see this week, and what do you want to see this week in going toward Battleground?
Definitely Finn Balor. I'm actually curious about the Jericho-Neville match on that card, because knowing I could actually see Jericho putting him over, and it would be nice to see like something happen with Neville other than him just being the glorified jobber who just who wins occasionally. Oh God, what the hell's even going on at Battleground? Entertaining, it's good to have Paul Heyman back because he's always entertaining. I'm curious if they find a way to have the Wyatt versus Roman Reigns feud that don't make us have to do another episode with why do they continue to fuck up Bray Wyatt. And the other thing I'm curious to see. So they're really getting behind Cesaro versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd as a tag team. And so obviously people believing him. I'm curious to see hopefully a singles push for Cesaro.
Let him take the title from Ryback. That's what I want. Let Cesaro take the title from Ryback and let's just kind of put this Ryback Big Show feud down easy. Let's just take it out back with the shotgun and tell the kids that send them away.
Or Cesaro could be the one who finally takes the U.S. title from. I mean, even though he's held the belt already, he could be the one who finally takes the U.S. title from John Cena.
That would be nice. That'd actually be entertaining. And John Cena obviously respects him. He did a thing with him before. By the way, before we get off of this, I should have brought this up in the middle of our downtime when I was showing you around my place. But there is a wrestling promotion that I actually sponsored for a good 6 months for a while, based out of Kingsport, Tennessee, called Southern States Wrestling. And if you guys have never seen it, if you've ever seen like the worst thing you've ever, like, imagine the worst wrestling you've ever seen times like 1,000. I sponsor this wrestling show. It's the same 6 guys, and they're all very, very overweight and can't fall off of their feet, and all they do is punch. I don't think they've ever gone off the ropes. It's the most incredible storyline with the King of Kingsport, Bo James, and you guys just have to see it. I'll send you links later.
Okay. And speaking of links, I just tweeted you guys the link of Shane Helms on Say Yes to the Dress.
Well, this has been a very informative show. Glad that we really broke some boundaries here. I think that's good. And I can't wait for next week, whatever the hell we're going to talk about.
Look, I think when you and I put the show together, and definitely when we brought Tim on, I think we assumed that it was only a matter of time before we went from being a wrestling podcast to just like an overall, like, guy show, pop culture podcast. I wasn't expecting it to happen on episode 4.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. I'm putting the blame. I'm bringing your face up before the entire crowd and putting the blame solely on you.
You know what? I do the Langer Cast, the podcast. Have you ever done Langer Cast, Brodigan?
I haven't done the podcast. I know him though.
Okay, so I do that podcast, and I was just voted their favorite guest, and I swear to you, I never know any of the topics they're going to talk about, and they talk about very, very serious policy issues. I do no studying and throw the entire show every time I'm on. Like,
that's the way to do it.
Oh, they were talking about something the other day. Somebody's doing some sort of a documentary on somebody named Simone, and I was like, I think I might do a documentary on Raven Simone. And that's just kind of the level of quality that I bring to a show, is just distract, have no knowledge of what's going on, and stay kind of witty about it. So it's a real lack of skill.
I wouldn't call that a lack of skill at all.
Speaking,
it takes talent. It takes talent to be entertainingly unprepared.
Oh man, I am sending you guys right now the YouTube page of the King of Kingsport, Bo James, and there are video tributes to him that he's made for himself. He's on like every public access network in the South. I don't want to give up how little I paid, but I will say that I paid a nominal amount to sponsor his show 100% for 6 months, and I was seen by thousands of no one watching. So it is the most amazing thing. He also books himself. He's about 350 and completely immobile, and he books himself as the champion and in the main event of every show that he can.
I'm seeing a couple videos. King of Kingsport. Okay, here we go.
If you guys, I'm serious, once you watch it, you go down the rabbit hole of watching everything. And there's one video in particular where the heel gets a hold of him and like beats him to death with a baseball bat, like 50 times, beats him with a baseball bat, and grace of God, he comes back. So, but every episode he advertises for Calvary Baptist Church too. So make sure that you go to Calvary Baptist Church when you're in.
Well, those are some packed audience you guys had. There's literally tens of people there.
We need to do a podcast. No kidding. Like maybe like an episode where we have can we show a YouTube video in the podcast and comment over it? Is there a way to do that?
Yes, I think there is. I'll try to work on that. No promises.
We should watch a show, a King of Kingsport show, and comment over top of it. And I mean, if you think Ryback versus the Big Show is exciting, then you're gonna love Bo James against Scott Sterling. It's amazing.
Speaking of amazing watching, there's if I'm looking at this webpage right, you have 9 days to raise the money you need for your own show.
Yeah.
Remind our viewers, all 3 or 4 of them, about your show and what they can do in order to contribute to make a right-leaning daily show happen.
Yeah, it's a right-leaning. You just look up right-leaning daily show on Kickstarter, and you can go donate a couple of bucks. We will get that money in, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a cool thing. We're going to be doing exactly what it is. It's repetitive. A right-leaning daily show. We have the writing. I have a great team of writers. We have I think we have a great guest lined up for the first show, and it's exciting. It'll be fun. It's something different, and it brings a different perspective up. That's going to be fun to watch.
I'm only hoping that maybe a vast right-wing conspiracy segment can appear on the show every so often as we talk about the big to-do in wrestling on this show.
Yeah, we'll talk about how wrestling sucks for 5 minutes every show.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, I'm sorry. I now have people tagging me in the picture of Seth Rollins being banned from the country music concert.
That is fantastic. Once again, this is the vast right-wing conspiracy where we've flown completely off the handle, and it is all probably Tim Young's fault. Tim Young, where can they find you on Twitter?
Tim runs his mouth.
Brodigan?
Brodigan.
At Brodigan, that's it?
At Brodigan.
And you can find me at JoeC_Esquire. It's the underscore, not the word underscore, just so you know. I'm going to change that probably soon because I'm tired of the underscore. And you can find us all on Twitter and harass us about our stupid wrestling show. And we will be back with this stupid wrestling show next week. Maybe not stupid. Maybe that's a little harsh, but nonsensical, maybe?
That's good.
Maybe nonsensical works.
I mean, if you do it on the 4th of July, it's going to be like 8:30 in the morning, so we're either going to be hungover or not awake yet, or both.
I'm actually going to be out of town. I'll be staying with family, so I'm going to see if I can wrangle this one at all.
I might be pregnant.
And on that note, thank you all for watching the show, and we will be back next week, hell or high water.